upper 90s. So it is hot, and we're going to have many more days ahead, especially Tuesday and Wednesday, where you'll need more extreme caution. There is the potential of maybe a heat advisory being added to those days. We are not under one yet.
And today, President Trump said the U.S. is taking over the Strait of Hormuz and imposing its own tolls on ships passing through the waterway. Fox's Mike Tubin.
The president posted that the blockade is back on. In fact, the president posted that the U.S. is now going to be known as the guardian of the Hormuz.
And charge 20%.
Yeah, and make sure the second camera that's muted.
Providing security. Now, Iran has made it clear
It should
they're going to fight that. Now, the U.S. has carried out 4 rounds of strikes inside Iran since Tuesday. They include targets used by Iran to manage shipping in the Strait. Iran responded by firing at neighboring countries and said Bahrain, Jordan, Kuwait, and Oman were not their targets. They were shooting at U.S. targets in those countries.
Checking the Holiday Automotive of Fun Relax Sports Scoreboard. Major League Baseball's home run derby is tonight at 7 o'clock. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Here's the latest forecast, powered by WillysWorldCustoms.com from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Sunny, hot, and humid this afternoon with temperatures in the low 90s and dew points in the upper 60s. A heat advisory starts at noon Tuesday and continues until 8 p.m. Wednesday. Both days have temperatures in the 90s and
Either website or TV is going to have it.
Stephanie Bartholomew.
This report is sponsored by Terminix Fatzner. Mosquitoes aren't just a nuisance, they can transmit dangerous diseases too. That's why Fatzner Pest Control is proud to offer mosquito
Fox6now.com.
family and property safe year-round. For your free
Did you
no
send me the
obligation
outline?
quote, give them a call or visit
What?
Fatzner.com
Did you send me the outline?
today. We're the living
did,
family.
A do-it-yourself bathroom center near State Fair on 66th Greenfield.
Bathrooms and kitchens are our specialty.
We use real wood cabinets and quartz tops to make beautiful rooms you will love for many, many years.
And our experts really know their stuff.
Remember our slogan?
I did it myself and do it yourself.
Here's why. Injured, it is about the money. I'm Attorney Victor Harding of Borchevsky. If you're injured, the Borchevsky Personal Injury Firm will make the defendants pay your damages and compensate your loss for the rest of the year. Some very well-known advertising lawyers are afraid to go to trial. They can hang out with football players and put on a brave face, but the insurance companies know when they have a penny. Make no mistake, who your attorney is can have a greater impact on the result of your personal injury case than even the facts of it. I vow Warshevsky will prepare to win your case at trial from the moment we take the case. Warshevsky will see to it that your interests are protected now and for the rest of your life. I measure Warshevsky's accomplishments in the hundreds of successful outcomes and judgments that were so punitive to wrongdoers. Whole industries have changed the way they do business. Injured, it is about the money. Warshevsky.com. 414-276-4970.
Hey, it's Dan, and the path towards feeling better isn't always a straight line. When life twists and turns, Sagent Behavioral Health is there to support you through every curve and bump along the way. They offer trusted therapy, psychiatry, and substance abuse treatment throughout the Milwaukee area. Their compassionate team meets you where you are and walks alongside you to create meaningful, lasting change. With in-person and telehealth appointment options and a wide network of accepted insurance plans, their care is designed to support and move with you.
So we are going to take the Fox6now.com stream.
Psychiatry, substance, got it pulled up in here. Mental health services, and their team includes licensed therapists, psychiatrists, alcohol and drug counselors, and care professionals working together to support whole person health. Sagent Behavioral Health, new name, same care. Learn more and find a clinic near you at sagentbh.com.
Okay, the stream has started. I do have it up. It's ready to go. Here's your stream.
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, we'll worry about the other stuff, the other hours.
Your computer's just frozen. It's so slow.
Go Wall Investment Group, now Creative Planning, is a registered investment advisor. Now, for your business
Let's not worry about that second thing quite yet. But if we don't get it up, we don't.
Literally, your computer's just, I can't use it.
Stocks were lower. Want me to pause it?
I don't know if too many people.
No, start it. We're gonna join right in progress. We're gonna do it live.
You got 175 in like 3 minutes.
What?
You got like 200 viewers in like a minute. That's probably why.
The company launched Aria, an AI agent designed for the real estate industry. The CEO of Brain believes this creates from creative planning on Joe's show.
Oh my God.
We good? It's fine. A busy start to a busy broadcast week. Let's get right into it here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Lieutenant Governor Sara Rodriguez, a leading candidate for governor of Wisconsin, forced to fire her campaign manager. The press release going out late last night amid a massive campaign finance scandal. It is believed that that campaign manager overstated donations to the Rodriguez campaign to the tune of $100,000 plus. Live right now, Rodriguez is holding a press conference to explain the firing, explain what happened. Let's go live right to it right now. This is Lieutenant Governor Sara Rodriguez.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars less than I thought. I am not going to put a precise dollar amount on that today because we are still reconciling our books and I want the next number out of my mouth to be 100% accurate. By Friday, I'd assembled a small team of political, communications, legal, and compliance experts to do a deeper analysis of what was going on with these accounts and reports. That initial analysis took all day Saturday as the compliance expert began to reconcile the bank accounts, NGP, which is our financial system, and the public reports that my manager had filed. We still do not know everything yet, and the analysis is ongoing, but we did learn a few key things. There was clearly a double counting of contributions that inflated how much money we had raised. There was also a significant failure to report certain expenses that had been paid. We are still looking to see if there's any additional discrepancies beyond that. But those learnings were enough to know that my manager needed to be fired, and she was fired on Sunday. First thing this morning, my campaign lawyer contacted the Wisconsin Ethics Commission to report what he discovered and to make a plan to correct the mistakes and file amended reports. I now stand here today in front of you being as transparent, honest, and accountable as possible. So moving forward, these are the steps we are taking. We will cooperate fully with the Wisconsin Ethics Commission on any information they need. My campaign will be working closely with an accountant and compliance to rectify our reports as quickly as we can. And we will take any necessary follow-up steps based on the guidance of the Wisconsin Ethics Commission. Let me close with this. This race is moving forward because the stakes are too high. My mom was a teaching assistant. My dad worked for the telephone company. I grew up watching two people work hard, do everything right, and still worry about money. Still make those trade-offs. Still carry the weight that working families carry every single day in this country. And that's what's still happening right now. Families getting crushed by healthcare costs, not because they're irresponsible, but because the system is broken and nobody in power seems to feel the urgency to fix it. So I am not here because this is easy. I am here because I know what's at stake, and I know who gets hurt when people like me decide it's not worth the fight. I intend to put my heart and soul into this race over the next month and until November, every single day of it. There are people who get knocked down
and don't get back up. I'm not one of them. With that, I am ready for your questions.
So why was your campaign manager filling out campaign finance reports?
So my campaign manager has been with me for several years. Her entire career has been in compliance. As we are trying to make sure we have a lean campaign, it made sense for her to do the compliance report since that was her expertise. And that was one thing I had full trust in for her because she had done it for so many years, and clearly that trust was misplaced.
Do you regret January? You said you can get back to January. Why is it just now that you're becoming aware of this issue?
So I have been given reports on a regular basis about what type of finances we had in this campaign. And based on everything I know with my fundraising, as well as what I was told by my campaign manager, and knowing what expenses were on this campaign, we were moving forward. Everything looked right. Unfortunately, just this last Tuesday, when I noticed the ads were not up, is when I decided to take a deeper dive into those finances. And once I did, and once I uncovered those errors, I took immediate action, pulled in an accountant right away, made sure that we were working with compliance experts, and eventually, yes, firing my campaign manager because she was the one who submitted these reports. That's why.
Do you regret not having more oversight on this? Do you regret not having more oversight?
If your campaign manager has been with you for several years, are you worried at all about previous reports, previous campaigns that she's run for you?
So we're going to look at every report that she has ever submitted. But right now we are focused on making sure these reports are accurate for the governor's campaign, and that's what I'm committed to. We are not going to submit another inaccurate report.
Do you regret not doing presidency, or is it something you believe she did to falsely inflate your numbers to make you look more competitive against your other opponents?
We are working with compliance, the Wisconsin Ethics Commission, and an accountant to uncover all of these facts. Right now, this is what I know. There were double counting of donations, and there were expenses that were not put into that finance report. That's what I know today. We're going to continue to work to be as transparent as possible and to make sure that this next campaign report is accurate.
Do you regret not having more? Do you regret not having more?
How is this not disqualified?
I'm going to ask this question. Do you regret not having more oversight over your own campaign, and does the buck not stop with you? And secondly, do you apologize to David Crowley? He got out of the race based on your perception of strength, which was a false number.
So what I will say is this, is that I met regularly with my campaign manager about how the campaign was going. And based on the information that I received and the information that our partners received, it looked accurate. I trusted her to do the job that I had hired her to do, that she had done for her entire career. And I regret placing my trust in that individual.
What does that say about you as a leader?
It says that when I find something, I take immediate action. When I found that there were discrepancies and inaccuracies in that report, I immediately took action to bring people in. This was literally from Thursday when I found out permanently, like when I found out what was going on within the accounts. It is Monday today.
It took 6 months, though, to get to this point.
Because I was continually getting inaccurate reports from my campaign finance person, from my campaign manager.
What was her response though? She's been with you for a long time. You guys have a working relationship. What was her response when you brought these to her?
So that's what we're trying to uncover. We are going through line by line on these accounts to make sure that they are accurate for the next finance report. That is my commitment to this campaign. It is my commitment to my supporters. And that's what I'm going to do moving forward. We've called our supporters all across the state. We are talking about the positive message that this campaign is going to bring because we know what's important for Wisconsinites. We know that they want us to lower costs on healthcare, to lower costs on housing, to lower costs on childcare. That is what I am committed to doing. And what I think it shows is that there are not many political leaders who would stand here today in front of 4, 5, 6, 12 cameras to be as transparent and honest as I am being. Because I think that we owe that to the people of Wisconsin as elected leaders.
I'm talking about Justin Hoffman with Remax Lakeside. Just go to wihomeeval.com.
Our founders believed that freedom wasn't just a word, it was a way of life. The freedom to move forward, the freedom to pursue what matters most, the freedom to live fully. But pain has a way of taking those freedoms away. That's why Relief Factor exists and why I endorse it. I've seen how many in this audience have regained their freedom and they're back to living life on their own terms. Relief Factor, it's 100% drug-free. It's a research-based supplement designed to help support a healthy inflammatory response, addressing pain at its source, not just covering it up. Over 1 million Americans have found relief and reclaimed parts of their life they thought were behind them. So this year, as we celebrate 250 years of freedom, ask yourself a simple question. Are you living with the freedom you deserve? Relief Factor. They give you the opportunity to live pain-free and get back to the life you love. To commemorate our country's birth, they are offering a special patriotic price, just $17.76. So you can celebrate your freedom from pain. Your $17.76 3-week quick start is ready for you right now. ReliefFactor.com.
Major breaking news here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Lieutenant Governor Sara Rodriguez addressing reporters over a campaign finance scandal that led to the firing of her campaign Calvi. And what he uncovered is pretty clear evidence of an intent to deceive. He said, I found 60 plus repeat entries so far in Sara Rodriguez's January filing, which claimed the same person made the same donation on the same day. The entries differ in zip code. One uses 5, the other 9 digits, or entries that use or don't use a middle initial or an extra space. This means that those which were put in, remember, by the same person were actually just slightly different. It wasn't as though there was just a an entry that went in twice. For example, if it was Stephen J. Jones and then another donation on the same date in the same amount by Stephen J. Jones, okay, that's one thing. The fact that one was, say, Stephen J. Jones, one was Stephen Jones, that looks like an intent to deceive. That looks like an intent to make a false representation about how much money is coming in. And this is critical. And Rodriguez answered the question about the intent here. And that was the important thing, because if there is intent to deceive, if there is intent to defraud, and who you would be defrauding would most notably be donors, your own donors. You would say, look, we've already raised $500,000. Give us some money, because all of this money that we've raised means that we are by far the strongest campaign. We are the campaign that is going to win in November. So support us and you'll be on the winning side. Well, if you've only raised $200,000, then you're raising money, you're getting money by false pretenses. That's fraud. In a campaign context, that potentially runs afoul of any number of state or federal statutes. Do I think that criminal charges are likely? No, I don't. Primarily because Democrats never, ever, ever throw the book at fellow Democrats for this sort of thing. This is going to go before the Wisconsin Ethics Commission, and the Ethics Commission, I think, has no choice but to say rules were clearly violated here. If there's no intent to deceive, defraud, then it essentially amounts to you make a correction, you make an addendum on the report. It's really a slap on the wrist, but that's the nature of it, because frankly, folks, it's contemplated that your reports are going to be off by maybe a couple $1,000s. You forget, say, to report the Stephen J. Jones donation. It's for $1,500. And okay, you file an addendum. Mistakes happen. Not in the amount of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the fact that Rodriguez did not say how much the reports were off by is incredibly telling, because she knows. And for her to say, first of all, the press release that went out last night, 9:30 p.m., you could tell this was big. Folks, I've been covering this for literally 25 years now. I have just celebrated my 25th anniversary. I started in broadcasting at age 19. I turned 45 years old yesterday. So I was just shy of my 20th birthday when I started this. I have been around the block over and over and over again. I could tell you when this news dropped at 9:30 p.m. on a Sunday night, this is bad. Like, this is bad. Had they dropped the only bigger tell that this was a big bad story that they were dropping was if they would have dropped it on the 4th of July. If they would have dropped it at like 10 p.m. as the fireworks are going off on July 4th, that's how you could, oh my gosh, this is a terrible story that actually could force her from the race. And the thing, folks, that is almost more than anything, almost more than the potential fraud by the campaign manager, it should be noted, there is probably nothing that directly ties. I can tell you something right now. Candidates have no idea what is going on with the actual fundraising. They have people who do the reporting, who do the compliance stuff. The candidate is kept in the dark for the most part on this stuff. So there's, not really, I think, any sort of criminal culpability if this does in fact rise to the level of something fraudulent that Spencer did. Rodriguez almost certainly would not be complicit in this, because it's my very strong belief, and I think any investigator would find almost the same thing, that Spencer was trying to keep this from everybody. So, oh, yes, everything's going good. Now, all bets are off. If Spencer was embezzling funds from the Rodriguez campaign, then yes, absolutely, that's criminal misconduct. Prosecutions are necessary. People need to go to jail. If Rodriguez knew about it and they were stealing money, if Spencer was stealing money and Rodriguez decided to give her a pass, then yes, there's criminal culpability there. Absolutely. But we're not talking right now, at least in the immediate future, about criminal culpability. We're talking about political culpability. And the thing that is almost worse for Rodriguez than any of this with the campaign manager and the overinflating donations, the double donations, is the fact that she was forced to admit in a race where she's trying to get all of her establishment normie rivals to drop out and to endorse her, that she's the strongest candidate, that she's broke, that she has no money, that she was far from making a $1.2 million ad buy, which was now revealed to be a complete and total lie, that she only has 0.2 of that $1.2 million in cash on hand, just $200,000. She's broke.
How much money does the campaign have right now?
So right now, to be fully transparent, we have about a little over $200,000 cash on hand in the bank. And over the time that we have been raising, we've raised almost $1 million. That is an accurate assessment. I'm not going to give you the exact number because, again, I want it to be accurate, but that is what we have right now.
Have any donors asked for money back?
No.
Yeah, they're going to start. And more importantly, no donors from out of state are going to come in to try to get behind her in an attempt to stop the socialist Hong from winning the primary, because she can't be trusted with that money. Not only that, you might remember that the last big sort of controversy that Rodriguez became embroiled in was back in the spring when she was asked about the budget process and how she would do the budgeting process. I told you Wisconsin has a pretty hefty budget, and we do a lot of policy. There's a lot of horse trading back and forth between the legislature and the governor. A lot of policy preferences go into that budget. Usually, you want a candidate who is saying, yes, I will be open and transparent. And isn't that the thing that Rodriguez kept saying today? I'm as open and transparent as I can be. I'm going to be as open and transparent. Well, she actually stepped in it when she said, yeah, I am going to do all budget negotiations. If we win the trifecta, if I'm working with Senate and Assembly Democrats on a budget, I am going to do this all behind a curtain. That we're going to have secretive negotiations so the public, the media, nobody is going to see what it is we're spending billions and billions and billions of dollars of taxpayer money on. Now, you look at that in a whole new light right now, because when she had her own campaign's finances hidden away behind a curtain, we have no idea how much of what she was raising, how much she was reporting to the public was actually raised, was actually real, and how much was just a complete and total fabrication. Now, she was asked, Rodriguez was, what are the steps forward here? How do you move forward? She reiterated over and over and over again. She said the same thing. This campaign is moving forward. We are moving forward. We are moving. The fact that she kept reiterating that means whenever you hear a candidate, whenever you hear a politician repeat the same phrase, the reason is obvious, because they want the public to remember. The repetition means retention. The more you repeat a message, the more it is likely to resonate with somebody. So the one big message that she wanted, her campaign, her consultants wanted her to get out there is, we are moving forward. Why does she want that message out there? Because there are going to be significant calls. There are already significant calls for her to drop out. So what are the next steps? She said they already have reported everything to the Wisconsin Ethics Commission this morning. They're going to let the process play out. And yes, the campaign is moving forward.
I now stand here today in front of you being as transparent, honest, and accountable as possible. So moving forward, these are the steps we are taking. We will cooperate fully with the Wisconsin Ethics Commission on any information they need. My campaign will be working closely with an accountant and compliance firm to rectify our reports as quickly as we can. And we will take any necessary follow-up steps based on the guidance of the Wisconsin Ethics Commission. Let me close with this. This race is moving forward because the stakes are too high.
She meant to say this campaign is moving forward. She's not dropping out, but I'm telling you folks, it is very likely that she won't have a choice as Democrats start smelling blood in the water. More on this coming up next.
From the place you want to go, Lynch McGuanago Traffic Center.
Southbound 43, stopping to go in Keefe to the Marquette. You got a stall at Locust off to the side. Crash blocking the left shoulder down near the Marquette. Crash on A94 eastbound after 76th is on the right. Delays back to the Hale interchange. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by the Our American Stories podcast.
This is Lee Habib, host of Our American Stories. On our next episode, we'll tell the tale of America's greatest science experiment. We're, of course, talking about the Manhattan Project. You won't want to miss the next episode of Our American Stories.
Is this July heat making your electric bill skyrocket? I've been telling you about my friends at Current Electric, Southeast Wisconsin's trusted leader in solar energy. By harnessing the summer sun, their custom-made solar panel systems can lower and sometimes eliminate your monthly electric bill. The superheroes at Current Electric have been at the forefront of cutting-edge technology since the early 2000s. So ask yourself, how much money is your roof making you? None? Schedule your home assessment today by visiting callcurrent.com.
Based in Lake Country, I'm Endurance Exteriors Ryan Ketchum. Endurance Exteriors is the company you would create to do your own GAF roof or siding, windows, gutters if you could. Your own roofing company wouldn't rush to get the job done, cut corners or sub out roof installation to third-party chucks in the truck who you wouldn't choose to work on your home if you knew, right? Endurance Exteriors inspects every aspect of your project, builds a proposal including everything required to bring your home back to better than brand new condition. Better than brand new, you ask? Many brand new homes have low quality, prone to failure materials, and most roofs are not installed to manufacturer warranty specs. You'd do a meticulous GAF roof or siding or window install because you don't want to ever do it again. We don't either. With Endurance, you will be 100% satisfied with price, quality workmanship, and value for life. Choose Endurance because we do. Exterior remodeling the way you would if you could. EnduranceExteriors.com. That's EnduranceExteriors.com. EnduranceExteriors.com.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
From large manufacturer to local pizza shop and every business in between, Summit Credit Union helps your vision take shape with loan programs, great rates, and strategic solutions. Whatever you're building, you've got this. And Summit Credit Union's got you.
Make News Talk 1130 WISN your number one preset on our free iHeartRadio app, powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
Smart speakers put WISN's programs as close as the sound of your voice. Tell Alexa, Google Home, or Siri on HomePod to play 1130 WISN on iHeartRadio and listen to Milwaukee's best talk shows.
Welcome back. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show, classical conservatism and contemporary style. We have got a lot of stuff to cover, ladies and gentlemen. This Sara Rodriguez news, it is hard to overstate just how big a deal it is, not just because this is the sitting lieutenant governor of the state of Wisconsin who is announcing that her campaign is broke, and it's broke because it never really had the money that it claimed it had been raising all along. That the campaign manager, a woman named Kara Spencer, who has since been fired, was overinflating to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars the amount of money that Rodriguez was putting out press releases saying that she had raised. There was a big deal made about the fact that Rodriguez had made a $1.2 million television ad buy. Why? Because money equals perceived strength. If you're taking in more donations, clearly this is the signal to the electorate, to other candidates, to other donors that you're the candidate to back. Because if everyone is giving their hard-earned money to you, you must be doing something right. What Spencer is accused of doing is falsely reporting on the January campaign finance report that's filed with the State Ethics Commission of falsely doubling up donations, reporting single donations as two donations in what appears to be a deliberate attempt to make it look as though there were more donations that were coming in for Rodriguez than were actually coming in. Why this would be done is because it was a crowded field and every single candidate needed to be the one who stood out as the alternative to first Mandela Barnes, who in the early stages of this campaign was running away with polling early on. Primarily, I think now it looks as though he just was winning based on name recognition, that he was now the candidate who was, I'm sorry. I apologize. We were supposed to go to Dave Spano there. You know what? Do we have Spano still up? I hate to do this. You know what? I'll tell you what. Let's punt on Dave Spano till tomorrow. This is such a big story. He just texted me. I realized since we're pushing everything back, I completely forgot that it's a Monday. So, Dave, if you're listening, I do apologize sincerely. We'll get to you tomorrow. Know the difference with Annex Wealth Management. Obviously, a lot to get to there. But this is so significant. This Rodriguez news, not just because this is not just, folks, not just a Wisconsin political story. This is about stopping potentially the spread of democratic socialism, which frankly is nothing but communism, like flat out communism in the ultimate swing state. Francesca Hong is now the prohibitive favorite to win the Democratic nomination. If Rodriguez isn't forced to drop out, and there is going to be significant pressure coming from the socialist left for her to drop out because of this scandal, Rodriguez was seen as the last hope that Democrats had, and they were in the process. The Wisconsin Democratic Party was in the process of getting other candidates who potentially could have been more moderate, establishment, non-socialist, non-crazy choices to potentially coalesce all of the non-socialist vote around. In fact, just last week, David Crowley dropped out of the race and endorsed Sara Rodriguez. That is a big sign that Rodriguez was seen as the only candidate who could potentially stop Francesca Hong. So initially, the move was to stop Mandela Barnes, also a socialist-leaning candidate, also a buffoon who is despised in Democrat Party circles because he lost the 2022 Senate race to Ron Johnson on the same ballot that Tony Evers won relatively easily in his bid for re-election over Tim Michels. Barnes ran behind Evers statewide by something like 4 points. A generic Democrat beats Ron Johnson. Mandela Barnes was worse than a replacement level Democrat. You've heard of like a replacement level player in baseball, a replacement level Democrat, just a generic Democrat is a much better candidate than Barnes. Francesca Hong captures the imagination of the socialist Madison base of Democrat voters in this state, and it's seen as Hong against the Democrat establishment. Well, if there's 7 Democrat establishment candidates running against her, she's going to win because they're all going to split the vote. They needed a candidate, the establishment Dems did, to get behind. It was apparently decided Rodriguez was the candidate. And just 5-6 days ago, not even a week ago, last Tuesday, I believe. It was first reported Crowley was dropping out. Press conference last Wednesday. He endorses Rodriguez. By Sunday night, her campaign is a dumpster fire with this scandal. So you have the candidate who is sort of handpicked to stop the spread of socialism in the ultimate swing state in the Midwest, imploding before our very eyes. It is looking more and more likely like Hong is going to win this nomination. And then this race doesn't just become about the future of Wisconsin, Tom Tiffany or Francesca Hong, it becomes the future of this country. Because if a socialist can win statewide in what's perceived to be such a purple state, such a swing state, then socialism can win everywhere and anywhere. And the Democratic Party is going to be taken over by the Democratic Socialists of America. They're going to be running socialist candidates pretty much in every election, starting in 2028. I think you're going to see a big boost to the presidential chances of, don't laugh, AOC. And this country takes a giant step towards becoming a socialist nation. That's not hyperbole, folks. This race, this is the first step. Wisconsin is sort of the first domino to fall. And when you have Rodriguez, the last sort of bastion, the last bulwark within the establishment Democratic Party, stopping that insurgent takeover of the party, essentially implode and have to report she's only got $200,000 in cash on hand. She was depending on a last-second big national ad buy, big infusion of cash from national Democrats who are also watching this race to try to make sure that socialists don't take over here. Because, well, why do Democrats care? It's not that they aren't all in favor of socialist principles. It's the actual socialists will displace them. They will boot them all out of the party for being insufficiently loyal to the Democratic Socialists of America. It's all about self-preservation. It's all about survival. All right, we are going to move on, and I do apologize. We are going to get to Daily Trump Date. I think we'll get to Dave Spano tomorrow. We are going to now get you the Sizzlin' Summer Cash Contest word for the 4 o'clock hour. $1,000 on the line. Just started this contest today. The word is fun. F-U-N, fun. You got until 4:55, plenty of time to go to our website and enter the word fun. If it takes you more than 22 minutes to enter 3 letters on your phone after going to our website, newstalk1130.com or WIBA.com, then you have probably got more issues than just not winning $1,000. Plenty of time. Coming up next, following the tragic passing of our dear friend and Waukesha County Executive Paul Farrow, the unfortunately reality is that the world does move on. And Waukesha County does need a county executive. In an emergency session on Friday night, the Waukesha County Board set the timing and the structure of a special election to fill that vacant seat. Coming up next, we are going to have live in studio State Senator Chris Kapinga to talk about that upcoming seat, his political future, and much, much more. Stay tuned. It's a jam-packed edition of the Dan O'Donnell Show. Coming right back.
From the Lynch Truck Center in Waterford, Total Traffic Center.
Southbound 43, stopping to go in Keefe to the Marquette. You got a stall at Locust off to the side. Crash blocking the left shoulder down near the Marquette. Crash on A94 eastbound after 76th is on the right. Delays back to the Hale interchange. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by RockAuto.com.
Ooh, Ben Tyrod, what are you going to do? I'm way ahead of you. I'll be on RockAuto.com before you can even finish this commercial. He's right, RockAuto.com. Parts when you need them.
All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto.
The
podcast world is filled with grifters who will say anything for clicks. I'm Mark Belling, and I will never say something I don't believe and can't back up. The Mark Belling Podcast is back on iHeart or wherever you get your podcasts.
The Mark Belling Podcast is presented by Uline Shipping and Industrial Supplies. Ship same day for fast delivery. Visit uline.com. The Mark Belling Podcast is also supported by Charisma Customs. You can get the Mark Belling Podcast right now at iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
If you or a loved one needs a personal injury attorney, ask around. Lawyers, judges, law enforcement officers, insurance adjusters, refer Warshevsky because we achieve maximum judgments and settlements. Their ordeal, their injury is about the money. Warshevsky.com.
Hey, it's Dan, and the path towards feeling better isn't always a straight line. When life twists and turns, Sagent Behavioral Health is there to support you through every curve and bump along the way. They offer trusted therapy, psychiatry, and substance abuse treatment throughout the Milwaukee area. Their compassionate team meets you where you are and walks alongside you to create meaningful, lasting change. With in-person and telehealth appointment options and a wide network of accepted insurance plans, their care is designed to support and move with you. It's one of the largest outpatient mental health providers in the Midwest and provides therapy, psychiatry, substance abuse disorder treatment, and other mental health services. And their team includes licensed therapists, psychiatrists, alcohol and drug counselors, and care professionals working together to support whole person health. Sagent Behavioral Health. New name, same care. Learn more and find a clinic near you at sagentbh.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
David Brownsdorf, president of Flawless Flooring, recommending iNet for web development and SEO.
That's all?
And graphic design, photography, and video.
That's more like it, Dave. Flawless installed luxury vinyl at 3 properties I own, including iNet. The 8 separate projects were easy, turned out beautiful, exceptional value, and are extremely durable.
But wait, there's more. iNet's creative genius branding and radio gives Flawless a unique identity, making us stand out. Hiring iNet is casting a net that pulls in customers your business wants and needs.
Clever, Dave. You just might have a future in radio ad writing.
My future is secure in flooring, partially because we cast our iNet 5 years ago.
Having Flawless replace pet stain and stink-saturated carpet is a smell and sight upgrade, making every day more beautiful and less gross. Flawless Flooring, LLC.com.
Having iNet replace underperforming web, radio, any marketing enhances business opportunity for profitable growth. iNet-web.com. CreativeGeniusMarketing.com.
Okay, Jason, I've calculated the cost of my air conditioner breaking on the weekend, and I think that if I sell my vintage comic books and post pictures of feet online, I still won't have enough money.
Or you could just call Capital.
But it's the weekend. Everybody charges a premium for just showing up.
Not Capital. We do same-day repairs 7 days a week. Plus, the service call is free when we do the work, even plumbing repairs.
So I can keep my comics?
Keep the comics. Call Capital.
Call CapitalCares.com.
The semifinals are set for the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
Baddies! Let's go! 4 teams hoping to hoist the trophy for their country.
And the only place to listen to every remaining game for free
is the iHeartRadio app.
What a moment in the tournament.
Fox Sports and iHeartRadio bring you all the action, no matter where you are.
The biggest games are yet to come. Don't miss a moment.
The referee blows the full-time whistle. Download the free iHeartRadio app now.
iHeartRadio FIFA World Cup update.
The World Cup semifinals get underway Tuesday when France battles Spain in Dallas. French star Kylian Mbappe and Argentina's Lionel Messi are tied at 8 goals apiece in the race for the Golden Boot. England's Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham trail the leaders with 6 goals each. Argentina takes on England in Atlanta on Wednesday.
Download the iHeartRadio app for live Fox coverage of every game.
game.
I've got a math question for you. When you add tolerance, subtract prejudice, and multiply efforts to treat one another with respect, what do you get? Less division. And school sports have it down to a science. Looking for an example of what can happen when we realize there's more that unites us than divides us? Look no further than high school sports in Wisconsin.
This message presented by the Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
Sorry if I don't see you. Remind me in my eyes, cross you. Keep in mind I'm not here, I'm in a different zone.
Talk radio redefined.
Sorry if my words wish I knew the time to lie to you. Even when I'm not here from a different world.
You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Welcome back. It is indeed the Dan O'Donnell Show. We are going to take a quick break from a massive political scandal with national and long-lasting national implications because of the potential for it to make it more likely that a socialist is that much closer to winning the gubernatorial election this November here in Wisconsin. But it was our unfortunate duty at the Heartland Post and on the Dan O'Donnell Show, though I was off last week, took a day off for my birthday, an extended weekend, to announce the passing of Paul Farrow, who wasn't just a titan of conservatism in Wisconsin, but he was just a genuinely good guy. He was also the sitting Waukesha County executive. And unfortunately, that position does have to be filled. Well, all of Waukesha County is in mourning. The entire conservative movement, Republican Party is in mourning. This process, as outlined by the Waukesha County Board in emergency session, is going to be moving very, very quickly. There is going to need to be a special election to fill that position. Joining me now is Republican State Senator Chris Kapenga, live in studio, great friend of the Dan O'Donnell Show, with an announcement about that race. Senator Kapenga, always great to see you. I certainly wish it was under better circumstances. I know how close you were to Paul Farrow, and my deepest condolences to you on his passing.
Yeah, it's interesting. Usually you get excited about announcing, and it's, I'm so excited to say, and it's an honor too, but this is just unfortunate. And it's, we've been praying for Amy and the kids, and I'll never forget watching him interact. The first time I saw him in a parade with, they had the Jeep and they were getting the candy ready, and it was him and Amy and the kids. And it was just, you could just tell, like, you just know the love in that family. And so it's just it's very sad. So I don't come with pleasure, but as you said, there's business that has to continue going on, and the board did their job. They had 7 days to call it. They called it. So now we're in the period of people announcing and saying, hey, I think I could do this job. Not that I want to, but it is what it is. So we are in that position right now.
And you are announcing what?
Announcing that I will be running for the Waukesha County executive position that is open right now. So the special election takes place on December 15, and so I will be running for that position.
Now, this does not mean that you would need to immediately give up your state Senate seat. However, if you were to win, you would have to resign your Senate seat. Is that correct?
Yeah, the timing is very interesting. So how it's going to have to work, and we read some statutes too, and the new clerk, Georgia Maxwell, did a great job laying everything out. We agree with her position, but the election is going to be December 15. So my election for the Senate will take place in November in the general election. So I will be on the ballot for that, and then 4 weeks later, or whenever it is, on December 15, there will be a lone election for the executive spot. There could be a primary a little bit earlier. We just don't know how many people are going to jump in, but that's how it's going to go. So everybody will vote for me on the Senate race in November, and then they will have the chance to vote for me in December for the county executive race. If that allows us to be successful there, we will take office in most likely January for the county exec spot, and we would resign our Senate seat on that day. It's the same exact thing Paul did when he actually took office, is he resigned on the same day that he took the county exec spot.
And then that would, again, God willing, allow a new Governor Tiffany to appoint until a special election can be held to fill what would essentially be a full 4-year term in the Senate.
Yeah, they actually, what they would do is it would probably be vacant until the special takes place.
Okay.
So that will work itself through. They'll have to figure out the timing of that. We first have to, we would have to be successful in the county exec race, and then it goes from there. So it's a little bit difficult from a logistics standpoint, but again, it is what it is, and we have to carry on the business of government, and that's what's going to happen.
Now, just if Congressman Tiffany is successful, if he wins the governor's race, he would likely do so with a very thin Senate majority, or possibly a very thin Democrat Senate majority. It would be a very, very important seat that you would be vacating. Do you feel there's some sense of sort of obligation if Tiffany does win it? And let's face it, I mean, I don't want to count any chickens before they're hatched, but the events of today made it, I think, a little bit more likely that the more beatable Democrat candidate is going to be the nominee. How do you sort of see that playing out with respect to what's going to be either way a very thin Senate majority?
Yeah, we analyzed all of that. Thankfully, this seat is one of the most conservative seats in the state. So from a ability or statistical, I'm a CPA, a retired CPA, so I look at numbers. It's almost statistically impossible unless somebody really makes a major mistake in this seat to lose it to a Dem seat. So that risk is very low. But you're right. It's like a razor thin margin either way. So I think that there's a couple other key seats that we're watching closely that will make the difference. But this seat is considered, when you look at the rack and stack of seats, it's a very safe seat for the Republicans. And I'm sure there will be somebody, a strong conservative, who steps in to take my spot should God allow this win to happen.
Senator Chris Kapenga announcing exclusively here on the Dan O'Donnell Show that he is running for Waukesha County Executive. The late Paul Farrow, his passing makes that seat open, makes that position open. It is a very, very important position. Sort of the seat of conservatism in Wisconsin is in Waukesha County. It is one of the biggest counties in Wisconsin, I believe the third biggest county behind Milwaukee and Dane. And it is a very important position. That said, Senator Kapenga, you are the first to announce you are very unlikely to be the last. One of your very, very good friends, in fact, Senator Rob Hutton, I know, is mulling a race. Also, former Assemblyman Scott Allen, who just lost a very narrow race for Waukesha mayor, I know is making calls, is trying to put together a run. You're very friendly with both of those guys. What makes you the better candidate than either of them?
I think all three of us are strong conservatives, so that I think that's important. And if they both feel led to run, we've talked already, because we have been, especially with Rob, we've been longtime friends. So they'll have to make that decision, and then it's really the voters who will have to decide, hey, this is what I see about this candidate or that candidate. Typical, it's typical for the election process, but we are good friends, and there's no animosity or anything like that. It's just, I think, interestingly enough, all three of us go to the same church, so that's
we're all praying about it.
I was going to say that's going to be a really weird while you're all singing, and it's like a kind of a subliminal vote for me. It's during the hymn. And that's the thing, Senator. I know you guys are, and this is the thing about Republicans. Typically, there isn't the
these just bloody primaries. At least we haven't really had one since the race for governor. I know, especially since you guys are so friendly, that you're going to keep it civil. One thing I do want to ask you, though, is you, because of your conservative stances, when the Lake County executive proposed a sales tax in Waukesha County, you were vehemently opposed to that. And in fact, one of my favorite stories was actually Paul Farrow and I being on the opposite side of that debate and just being able to talk about it civilly and just saying, hey, how much we respect each other about it, and just like genuinely having a debate about the issue. You were very forcefully opposed to that. And I know that rubbed a whole lot of members of the board the wrong way. How would you work with those members, many of whom are very conservative, if you're elected county executive, knowing that there has been that, I don't want to call it bad blood, but there's been that animosity, I think, between you guys.
Yeah, you realize that there's going to be different positions. It's the Ronald Reagan 80-20 rule. I think what's interesting is if you look at my background, my background is I walk in, when I buy a business, I walk in and I analyze the business and I figure out, hey, where can we do better? What type of things can we do to find efficiencies, to cut costs, things like that. We all know there are significant budget pressures going on right now. In every county, but Waukesha County specifically, because that's what we've had to deal with. And I think what God gifts everybody differently. And the one thing that I'm really good at is I can look at things. I'll give you the example of the CPA caucus when we walked in, and CPA caucus several years back looked at the financial statements of the state, and just by looking at it, we were talking through, and we found $1 billion slush fund.
Right, I remember that.
So it's just a very different, I call it the paradigm. So the paradigm is the lens or the pair of glasses that you look through in how you approach life. And I think I've got a unique paradigm in that way where this is kind of my gifting when I walk in and I'm able to see things differently than other people, just because that's how I view the world. So I think that it will be helpful for the board to maybe have a little bit different perspective just because of my background in fixing businesses and being a CPA, and just numbers come naturally to me. And we don't think there's ever been a CPA in this seat before. So I think that really lends itself well. And it's not an animosity. I think I can help lead them to the point where, hey guys, this is a different way to look at it. Here are things we're finding that can help us take care of this budget without having to go to a sales tax increase. Because, my phone was blowing up from constituents going, oh my goodness. And then the business community was really upset about it. So that was one situation where, I had to stand up for the constituents. And yeah, they're on different sides of the issue there, but it's just I have a unique gifting, I think, in that specific area to really help you get operational efficiencies. Let's take an inventory of all the property that the county owns. I don't know if you saw in the Biz Times, but they said that there's a shortage of commercial space now. We all know that there's a shortage of affordable homes in Waukesha County. Just last week, I think it was, they were named the #1 most expensive county in the state for housing. Well, let's look at some of the inventory that we're not utilizing for our property that the county has, and let's start addressing those issues. So I think just that unique paradigm, I would say, in my background and expertise, I'll call it, I think it really works well with the challenges that we have facing as we go forward.
State Senator Chris Kappinga announcing his run for Waukesha County Executive exclusively here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. So do you have a website up, Facebook page?
We're still working on getting that all up because it was recently announced. But if Chris at chriskappinga.com is my email, and if people want to engage, they can go to my Facebook page.
Excellent. Well, I love the fact this is so fresh, so new. You just announced it here. No, I'm sure all of that will come. Obviously, if you guys want to do an impromptu candidate forum for people in Waukesha County, I would love to offer my show. I wish you all the best, sir. State Senator Chris announcing his run for Waukesha County Executive here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. More coming up in just a second.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank. Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Southbound 894, you got a stall on the exit ramp to below 8 delays from Greenfield down to the Hale interchange, and then eastbound delays to 60th. Still got a crash off to the right shoulder at 76. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by the Yard.
The burgers are hot and the guest list is growing. It's By the Yard's July BOGO Bash. Buy one dining chair and get the second 30% off. It's time to upgrade your outdoor dining space, but don't wait. This offer will be gone before summer is. With By the Yard, life is better outdoors.
From the road to the roof, S&K will fix your plumbing problems 24/7.
Dave Spano, CEO of Annex Wealth Management, a fee-only fiduciary.
Fee-only fiduciary really further separates the folks that either say fiduciary some of the time. And it's not just that alone. It is, of course, everything else that we bring to the table that this just isn't asset management. It is estate planning, tax planning, financial planning, all of it wrapped together in one transparent.
Annex Wealth Management. Click the Get Started button at annexwealth.com.
Ready to take the first step toward pain-free living? The Total Joint Specialists at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin offer same-day joint replacement surgery using advanced technology for faster recovery and lasting results. When I was in pain, my first thought was to reach out to OAW. It was the best decision I've ever made. Get back to doing what you love with less downtime. Visit orthowisconsin.com to learn more. That's orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference.
Express. You're gonna put a smile on your face. We make it easy. Express.com. We will improve your
find something. They had to find something that can get it. And they go, okay, well, we can make money by doing the rest of this. So it's like
through a divorce. Well-meaning friends and family will give you conflicting opinions on what they wish they had done or what your next steps should be. Should you play nice or fight them tooth and nail? At Divergent Family Law, we know the laws and we know the judges. We'll help you make informed, confident decisions and be your advocate so you can get the best possible outcome in your divorce. Divergent Family Law, your fair share or better. DivergentFamilyLaw.com.
I'm Dave Brownsdorf, president of Flawless Flooring. It's true, there's nothing quite like the scent of freshly steam-cleaned, worn carpet other than a wet dog or cat's litter box. However, Flawless's customer satisfaction-driven, unprecedented growth pinched the Milwaukee metro flooring industry to the point major carpet companies are no more. We've added quality carpeting lines, becoming your true one-stop flooring shop. Flawless Flooring's New Berlin and Delafield showrooms feature virtually unheard of in the flooring industry, upfront accurate pricing, including installation on every display. Know how much carpet, LVP, or modern laminate flooring you need. You can get exact pricing as you should. Want to expand your existing hardwood flooring? Flawless's employee-only craftsmen strip existing flooring, install new hardwood, then finish old and new together for a perfect, looks all original floor. Lock in purchasing power of today's dollars for money you'll earn up to 21 months from now with Flawless's no money down, zero interest financing. Sensory under load, Flawless Flooring. FlawlessFlooringLLC.com. That's FlawlessFlooringLLC.com.
I'm attorney Tom Grieve, here to tell you about Grieve Civil Law. There's a lot of things in life we put off for far too long. Going to the doctor, the gym, or the dentist. We know we should do it, but there's always something else more urgent. Estate planning cannot be put off. Life is unexpected. Have you thought about your will? Probate is time-consuming and costly. It can cause family disputes and resentment. Is that what you want your legacy to be? Don't procrastinate when it comes to your family's future. Protect them from chaos and confusion. Don't let your legacy be the mess you left them with. You probably hear a lot of ads that say, time is running out, don't wait. It's a marketing gimmick. We all know there will be another sale soon. When it comes to estate planning, time is literally running out. Plan today and have peace of mind tomorrow. Don't gamble with your life's work. Don't gamble with your family's future. GrieveCivilLaw.com. Because time is running out.
There used to be a day when the national news media prided itself on getting the story right. Those days are gone. Now it's slanted stories, unnamed sources, and fake news. The goal no longer is to inform you.
The goal is to indoctrinate you. Here at News Talk 1130 WISN, our show hosts will give you straightforward information and honest analysis. That is our commitment, and that is our daily mission. News Talk 1130 WISN. Real life, real news, real good. When you need to know what it all means, that's when you need us. Stay informed all day, every day on News Talk 1130 WISN. All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the NX Wealth Management Studios. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference. Stay informed all day, every day on News Talk 1130 WISN. Milwaukee, an iHeartRadio station. Guaranteed human.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels. Lieutenant Governor Sara Rodriguez terminated her campaign manager today over what's being described as serious mismanagement, as well as financial filing inaccuracies. Reports say the campaign may have overstated fundraising by at least $100,000. Both the heat and humidity are back in Wisconsin, not just today, but really for the rest of the week. Fox 6 meteorologist Lisa Michaels.
In fact, some locations could potentially be reaching the mid-90s, and that means our heat indices could fluctuate at times closer to the upper 90s. So it is hot, and we are going to have many more days ahead, especially Tuesday and Wednesday, where you'll need more extreme caution.
And today, President Trump said the U.S. is taking over the Strait of Hormuz and imposing its own tolls on ships passing through the waterway. Fox's Mike Tubin.
The president posted that the blockade is back on. In fact, the president posted that the U.S. is now going to be known as the guardian of the Hormuz Strait and charge 20% of all cargo shipped as reimbursement for providing security. Now, Iran has made it clear that they're going to fight that. Now, the U.S. has carried out 4 rounds of strikes inside Iran since Tuesday. They include targets used by Iran to menace shipping in the Strait. Iran responded by firing at neighboring countries and said Bahrain, Jordan, Kuwait, and Oman were not their targets. They were shooting at U.S. targets in those countries.
Checking the Holiday Automotive of Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard. Major League Baseball's Home Run Derby is tonight at 7 o'clock. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
This hour of the Dan O'Donnell Show is presented by Wershevsky Law.
Football players, actors, or real trial attorneys injured? It is about the money. Wershevsky Law.
From the Odoo.com Weather Center. Odoo.com, the only business software you need.
Sunny, hot, and humid this afternoon with temperatures in the low 90s and dew points in the upper 60s. A heat advisory starts at noon Tuesday and continues until 8 p.m. Wednesday. Both days will have air temperatures in the 90s and feel likes in the 100s. I'm Fox 6 meteorologist Stephanie Barrichello.
This report is sponsored by Milwaukee's Irish Fest, August 13th to 16th.
Float, flock, or fly to Milwaukee August 13th through the 16th for Milwaukee Irish Fest with performances by Ali the Piper, Gaelic Storm, the Gardner Brothers, Eileen Ivers, and much more. Get your tickets now at irishfest.com.
Hi, it's Jay Weber. Let's talk about the roof on your home. A lot of you will need to replace your roof this summer, but be forewarned, there are roofing companies out there that skip over the most important part of the process, the attic ventilation. You see, if your attic doesn't have proper air circulation, it can cause problems such as mold and wood rot, leaks in the winter, not to mention higher AC bills in the summer. This is one of the reasons I recommend Semperfi Roofing to my listeners. Their process begins with a free 21-point roof inspection that includes a thorough inspection of your attic. They know that if the ventilation isn't right, the roof will be built on a shaky foundation. Every Semperfi roof comes with a well-thought-out attic ventilation plan, and that's why they can offer a 50-year leak-free guarantee on every roof they install. And right now, money-saving discounts and financing incentives are available. Call for your free 21-point roof inspection and estimate today, 262-600-2910, or book an appointment at semperfiroofing.com.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semperfi.
Our founders believed that freedom wasn't just a word, it was a way of life.
the freedom to move forward, the freedom to pursue what matters most, the freedom to live fully. But pain has a way of taking those freedoms away. That's why Relief Factor exists and why I endorse it. I've seen how many in this audience have regained their freedom and they're back to living life on their own terms. Relief Factor, it's 100% drug-free. It's a research-based supplement designed to help support a healthy inflammatory response, addressing pain at its source, not just covering it up. Over 1 million Americans have found relief and reclaimed parts of their life they thought were behind them. So this year, as we celebrate 250 years of freedom, ask yourself a simple question. Are you living with the freedom you deserve? Relief Factor. They give you the opportunity to live pain-free and to get back to the life you love. To commemorate our country's birth, they are offering a special patriotic price, just $17.76. So you can celebrate your freedom from pain. Your $17.76 3-week quick start is ready for you right now. ReliefFactor.com, 800-4-RELIEF. 800, the number 4-RELIEF.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
WISN. Big taxers, big spenders, political cronies, global warming alarmists, charlatans, liars, scam artists, and feeders at the public trough. The threats to your happiness are many, but that's where we can help. News Talk 1130 WISN. Our truth shall keep you free.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
Kowal Investment Group, now Creative Planning, is a registered investment advisor. Now for your business report from Creative Planning. For informational purposes only, past performance is not indicative of future results.
Good afternoon. This is Anthony Priester with your closing business report. The major averages were higher today, boosted by a few big tech names, while oil prices eased as investors monitored ceasefire talks between the U.S. and Iran. And shares of Meta Platforms jumped 5%, extending weekly gains to more than 14%, the most since early 2024. The gains come following a Reuters report that said Facebook is looking to put an AI chip into production in September and suggested its compute costs will come in lower than Wall Street expected. At the close, the Dow was up 149 points, the S&P 500 was up 31 points, the NASDAQ was up 74 points. From Creative Planning, I'm Anthony Priester.
What a big news day here in Wisconsin. Not only do we have a massive scandal that I think, folks, is inevitably going to force Sara Rodriguez to drop her bid for governor. State Senator Chris Kapinga announcing here on the Dan O'Donnell Show that he is going to run for Waukesha County Executive. There's going to be a special election in December following the tragic passing of our good friend, Paul Farrow, last week. It was announced that Farrow had died at the age of 61 following a courageous battle with cancer. Unfortunately, yes, I know it seems crass that you have to announce, you have to get these special elections set so quickly. State law requires that these things do move very quickly. So that special election is going to be in December. Kapinga announced today that he is going to run. It is unquestionably going to be a conservative Republican who is representing Waukesha County, one of the more conservative counties in the state. In statewide elections, not nearly as conservative as it used to be, where in the Walker era it was to the tune of 75% Republican votes. Now it's closer to about 65%. That sort of changed the statewide calculus for how you win races as a Republican, but it is still overwhelmingly a conservative county. So whoever it is that gets in on the conservative side, and remember, these are nonpartisan races. County executive is a nonpartisan race. So this is going to be a spring election. The special election to fill the remainder of Paul's term is going to be December. So roughly a month after Kapinga runs for re-election November. Again, his seat is about as safe a Republican seat as it gets because, again, huge portion of Waukesha County, he's not going to lose re-election. He's going to win re-election by, even in a big Democrat year, he's going to win by a significant margin. He would then, though, once he assumes the office, if he were to win the special election for county executive, he would have to resign his state Senate seat. So we did have that news. We do have some more Sara Rodriguez sound bites to come. I have been texting back and forth with sources, with political insiders. Folks, I can tell you without revealing any sort, there is not one person who believes that Sara Rodriguez campaign survives the week, that she is done, that this scandal is so big, it is so bad, it reveals so much about how not ready for prime time she is to be a major party's nominee for governor, let alone be governor herself, that there's just no chance that she is even going to make it to Friday. The general consensus is we're going to get maybe not another press conference, but we're going to get a press release, and it's going to be after careful consideration. I believe that the best path forward is to abandon my run, to suspend my campaign, and to find somebody who stands up for the ideals and can beat Tom Tiffany in the fall. We will have much more on that coming up. And I'll tell you what, we will give you a chance to weigh in on this news. We'll open up the phone lines. Carpetland USA Flooring Center talk and text line is going to be open, 414-799-1130. You can always email me, dod@iheartmedia.com. We are streaming. You can follow us on social media at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube as well. Dan O'Donnell Show podcast each and every day. And let's get right to it. Sizzling Summer Cash Contest. Because of the breaking news, that press conference from Rodriguez right at the start of the show, we basically have had to play it by ear, and then we haven't gotten to the contest until the bottom of the hour, each of the first 2 hours. So let's get right to it now. The word is fun. No, the word is not fun. Forget that I said that. The word is check. Last hour's word was fun. This hour's word is check. 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 As in, we will write you a check for $1,000 if you go to our website. That's newstalk1130.com or WIBA.com and enter the keyword check. You've got until 5:55 to do so. And we are playing 9, 10, 11, noon, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 each and every weekday now through Friday, August 7th. So very nearly a month of $1,000 every hour. A chance for you to win $1,000. It is our Sizzling Summer Cash Contest. It kicked off this morning, and we want you to be our very first winner of $1,000 here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. We had to punt on this an hour ago, and by the way, I talked with Dave Spano. I always enjoy talking with him about how the things that we talk about impact your bottom line, markets, your personal finances, that sort of thing. So we will move the Know the Difference segment to tomorrow. I was very worried he would have an important meeting on the golf course and we wouldn't be able to get back with him tomorrow. No, I talked with him during a commercial break. We're going to get hooked up with him tomorrow. So Dave Spano tomorrow, daily Trump date right now.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning.
Trump just keeps winning.
It is a win for the administration.
It's also a big win for the United States.
We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
President Trump has scheduled a press conference for 9 o'clock Eastern, rather an address to the nation, I guess the White House is calling it. President posting on Truth Social. The topic has not yet been announced. I'm going to take a wild guess, though. It is the resumption of hostilities with Iran. President Trump has now formally gone to Congress to say that we exist in a state of open hostility against Iran and that he is informing Congress he now has 60 days for defensive action, offensive action without a formal congressional declaration of war. Yes, this is all lawful. This is all constitutional. The president did make that notification to Congress this morning, and the president and American forces have spent the weekend targeting Iranian targets, including now Karg Island. The president president was on Fox and Friends this morning before tweeting that the United States now controls the Strait of Hormuz, that in fact we are going to be charging people for access through the strait, friendly nations to help pay for the cost of us patrolling it, that tomorrow an Iranian embargo, all ships going out of Iranian ports, going to Iranian ports, going to be enforced once again by the United States Navy. The president was visibly ticked off in a phone interview on Fox and Friends this morning when discussing the Iranians.
We had a deal. What nobody knows, we had a deal. It was a done deal. And then they broke it. They always break it. We've had 10 deals with these people. And so we're just going to hit them very hard. And we're going to keep the strait, and we'll probably run it. We'll become the guardian of the strait. Maybe we'll call it the guardian angel of the strait. And we should be reimbursed for that. When we do that, we're going to be reimbursed because the other nations are very wealthy. They're on our side. And we can't be expected to do that for nothing, unlike we had for many years.
Now, okay, far be it from me to criticize with the benefit of hindsight, but I think it was pretty obvious that there was really no chance that the Iranians were going to honor this ceasefire agreement, that there was ever going to be any sort of lasting deal with the United States, because frankly, any sort of deal, any sort of capitulation makes them look weak in front of their own people, and they cannot ever allow themselves to look weak, especially with the Ayatollah dead. It appears that the Ayatollah's son is dead, as the president is fond of saying. Phase 1 of Iranian leadership is dead. Phase 2 is dead. We thought that phase 3 was reasonable, but as he said, we got to know them, realized that they're terrible people, couldn't make a deal with them. There has never been an Iranian leader. There has never been any faction within Iran. Now, this is to say nothing of their people, but remember, all of the people who would be rising up against the weakened regime were killed shortly before the United States and the Israeli initial action on February 28th. There was the wholesale slaughter of anywhere between 10 and 50,000 protesters. That all but ensured there wasn't going to be the sort of popular revolution that the United States and its Western allies had been hoping for or trying to subtly foment for years. And I think that was the error in the strategy here, that it was believed that after the Ayatollah fell, after the initial attack, that there wasn't a popular revolt because all of the people were terrified by the fact that they would be the next one killed by the remnants of the regime, because there were no American troops patrolling the streets of Tehran, and all of the brave Iranians who had been leading that protest movement were gunned down. So President Trump on Fox and Friends today said, look, this is a bad group of people who killed those protesters and who we have been negotiating with, ultimately, it seems, in bad faith.
They're a bad group of people. Let me just tell you that. I don't say that often, and I have to live with that statement. They're a bad group of people. They've been this way for a long time, and right now they're getting their ass kicked.
That's good, at least. I mean, you want to see them get there. Okay, I'm going to be... Folks, you're all going to call me a millennial neocon. This should have been the end game from the beginning. This is not the United Arab Emirates. This is not the Saudis. This is not a group of people who can essentially be bribed. This is not the Qataris. This is not, I don't want to say that bribed has a negative connotation. This is not a group of people you can dangle the promise of American tourism and Western style capitalism to make them all even richer. This does nothing for them because they're all Islamist fanatics. They are anti-Western, fanatical, crazy people whose stranglehold and despotic rule over their population is predicated on fear and terror, keeping those people down. And if there is any sort of deal with or belief by those people that the great Satan or the little Satan of Israel, the great Satan of the United States, has the Iranian regime under their thumb, that's when the Iranian regime crumbles. It is just as simple as that. Well, in more pleasant news, the president this afternoon held a press conference previewing the Freedom 250. It is an IndyCar Grand Prix for the first time through the streets of Washington, D.C. this coming August.
This will be like no other race ever. I don't think anything will ever top what we're going to be having. It just happened with UFC. It got the highest ratings of any fight in history. This will get the highest ratings of any such race. It'll be one of the most unforgettable racing events the world has ever seen. And we have the most talented people. These people have a lot of courage on my right. I don't want to do what they did. You could teach me, but it still takes something special, right?
The president pointing to a group of IndyCar racers who are going to be taking part in that race August 22nd and 23rd through the streets of Washington, D.C. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said tickets are free if you would like to line the streets and see a great American auto race. That, ladies and gentlemen, is your Daily Trump Date. Of course, the biggest story over the weekend nationally, the sudden death of Lindsey Graham, South Carolina senator that was truly beloved. Governor Henry McMaster of South Carolina, actually, he was so beloved, in fact, that McMaster, on Trump's suggestion, actually nominated and appointed Lindsey Graham's sister, Elise, to serve as his interim replacement before an election can be held to fill the remainder of his term as a tribute to Lindsey Graham. The Senate Majority Leader John Thune got emotional while memorializing Graham today on the floor of the United States Senate.
And that one day, Mr. President, we will laugh together again. Mr. President, I yield the floor.
The cause of death has now been revealed. Graham died suddenly at age 71 of aortic dissection tied to arteriosclerotic cardiovascular disease, or ACD. This involves a tear in the inner wall of the body's main artery, and it is incredibly deadly. And aortic dissection can happen almost instantly. And that, unfortunately, is what happened. Do you want to know how beloved, and say what you will about Lindsey Graham. You talk about the ultimate neocon. That was Lindsey Graham. The man was very clearly beloved in the Senate by both parties. He was just a good and decent man. You know he was when even Trump appeared to get choked up during a phone interview with NBC News on Sunday, shortly after it was first reported overnight, Saturday night into Sunday morning, that Graham had passed away.
I got a message about 1 o'clock in the morning from one of the people at his office that he had passed away. I said, I just can't believe it. He was like a member of the family to me. It's very tough, actually. It's amazing.
Mr. President.
He was such an advocate. He was, if he wanted to get something, and he had a unique ability. He was able to deal with Democrats and Republicans. If I had a problem, a real problem, I wouldn't often ask. But if I had a problem with a Democrat, he could work it out. He was a great politician, actually.
You could actually, I swear there were tears running down the president's cheeks. Do you know how rare that is? I don't think in 40 plus years of Donald Trump being a public figure, you have ever seen or heard him get emotional or cry. That's just what a good man Lindsey Graham was. So, of course, Democrats are doing what Democrats always do when a prominent Republican dies. They're being ghoulish and awful and, either making jokes or just being, ghoulish and awful. This obviously combined with Senator Mitch McConnell, who I will admit it is a very weird thing. He put out a statement, a photo yesterday as proof of life after the questions just started to mount. Hey, nobody has seen our boy Cocaine Mitch in quite some time. Do I have to explain again why we call him Cocaine Mitch? One of his old primary opponents thought it was like that his wife was secretly running cocaine cocaine from China. And he called him, let's ditch cocaine Mitch, I believe was what this guy said. Well, Mitch McConnell's supporters took that as it was a very funny. It's actually a running joke in my house. I called him Cocaine Mitch so much. My now 18-year-old son, I believe he was like 11 or 12 years old, found a coffee mug that had it was like Mitch McConnell as Scarface, and there was like cocaine all around him, and it said cocaine. I used the Cocaine Mitch mug forever, so much so that our producer Dave Michaels demanded a Cocaine Mitch mug. We found him one, and he now uses a Cocaine Mitch mug. So it's like a joke around the office, Cocaine Mitch. But McConnell, provides a proof of life. It just, folks, I may get into this tomorrow. We had so much with the breaking story on Sara Rodriguez, and still more to get to as the pressure is mounting as we speak for her to drop out. But Lindsey Graham's death, even though he was a relatively young 71, exposes the problem with America's gerontocracy, the rule by the extremely old. The fact that we are saying a relatively young 71 means there's some serious issues here with the fact that our governing ruling class is so much older than Americans more generally. This is what happens with older people. Unfortunately, there is sudden death. Unfortunately, there is sudden infirmity. The president of the United States, we all love him. I love him. You love him. He's 80 years old. He could, I don't want to be morbid, and I don't want to sound like that idiot with the tap room who's offering free beer. Oh, yeah, by the way, speaking of being ghoulish, who's that fat felon? Oh, my God. Why can I not think of his name? The fat brewery guy, Minocqua. Bangstad, Kirk Bangstad. Good old Kirk Bangstad. He said, no, we are not offering free beer when Lindsey Graham dies. It has to be a more important Republican. It's got to be like Mitch McConnell. Oh, my God. Could you imagine if I said right now, I will give you all free beer when finally Kirk Bangstad drinks himself to an early grave? That's a massive scandal. That's like a career-ending scandal because I am, a decent human being. Democrats are just like, oh, yeah, it's free beer day. Trump dies. We're all going to celebrate. In any event, that is the risk you run. Dianne Feinstein died in office. They wheeled her out of the Senate on a stretcher with a blanket over her. It's a major problem. And look, folks, it is. I'm not going to fault people for continuing to work or continuing to be in positions of power well past 70. Look, medical technology is such that human beings are living longer than ever before by significant margins. And you can have productive years well into your 70s, 80s, even 90s. Does that mean you should be running the country or in a position of significant power and authority in the Senate or the House? Maybe not. So we will try to get into that, America's gerontocracy and the problems therein, and also how all of America and a lot of Western society is being geared towards an aging population. We're already seeing the problems of this in Japan, in Germany, in Italy, in other nations in Europe. It is starting to happen here in the United States, the aging population and what kind of strain that puts on the social safety net, especially when we also have to take care of, 20 to 30 million people who are in this country illegally at minimum. When you have more retirees per worker, that is a big problem. Quiet Sara Rodriguez. We're going to get to you next. I played the wrong sound, but I wanted to play this song. We will hear from Sara Rodriguez and what I am hearing from pretty much everybody about her political future. Here's a hint. It's not great.
The Dan O'Donnell Show. We'll be right back.
From the Lynch Buick GMC of West Bend Total Traffic Center.
Southbound 4145, slow from Good Hope down to Capitol. Southbound on 894 from Lincoln down to the Hale interchange. Still got a stall on the exit ramp to Beloit, only partially blocking. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples. All right, it's officially the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech, 20% off for teachers, and more. Check out all the deals at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy.
Selling your home is one of the biggest financial decisions you'll make. Hi, this is Chris Leby with Lake Country Flat Fee. If you're still considering a 6% broker, you're paying too much. We deliver full-service real estate with expert agents and a 24-year track record. Smart sellers are keeping thousands more in their pockets. You should too. Our sellers save about 50% versus a traditional 6% broker. To learn more or to schedule a free market analysis, visit our website at lakecountryflatfee.com.
Billy the Billy Goat here. Not every roofer can handle the tough jobs, but a Billy Goat can. At Billy Goat Roofing, we're built for the steep, the storm damaged, and we offer a 50-year leak-free warranty. Billy Goat Roofing was just voted best in Milwaukee for roofing. Get honest answers, reliable work, and a roof that's ready for Wisconsin weather. Call Billy Goat Roofing for your free inspection. Always sure-footed when it matters most. Visit BillyGoatRoofing.com.
Welcome, everyone, to the Museum of Mechanical Failure. Over here, we have an air conditioner that was installed when the Macarena was still a hit.
Tracy, your AC is an antique that's costing you a fortune.
But look at the craftsmanship, Jason. It uses more energy than a small city and sounds like a freight train.
Capital can replace that with something modern that actually lowers your bills.
And right now, we're taking $1,000 off a new air conditioning system.
Leave the Macarena in the past. Call Capital today.
Call CapitalCares.com.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
Happy birthday, America, from George and Holly Boggs, owners of the Sawmill Restaurant and Pub in Richfield. This month, look for historic dishes at the Sawmill, foods that your great-great-great-grandparents might have enjoyed. Check them out on the web at sawmill-n.com.
Make News Talk 1130 WISN your number one preset on our free iHeartRadio app, powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
This is where sycophants and chills are shunned, and commitment to the unvarnished truth is sustained. Just one reason that this is Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130 WISN.
That is a fascinating topic. America's gerontocracy, the gerontocracy of pretty much the entire world, just how technology has made it so human beings are living far longer. People in positions of power, whether it's in government, whether it's in corporations, wherever, don't feel as though they need to step aside at age 65 or age 70. That's all well and good. Frankly, if I'm able to, God willing, and I recognize that I'm in a business where very few people actually do get to retire on their own terms. That's why I'm just so proud and happy for my friends Jay Weber and Mark Belling. Well, Belling said he didn't retire from radio. He just took his show to a podcast, very, very good podcast. Jay was like, no, I totally retired from daily radio. This is my retirement gig. I'm doing a podcast 2 days a week. That's few and far between. If I am able to retire, if I'm not blown out at some point because I shut off my big stupid mouth, very likely to happen in the next 20 years, or just, a cost cut. It's radio. I mean, it's just, we're in a very changing space. If I am able to, I can tell you right now, I am not working well into my 70s or 80s. I am hanging with grandkids, God willing, great grandkids. I hope my kids are listening right now. Not too soon, but we want grandkids as soon as. Find yourself a spouse. The most important thing you can do is advance the species, is have children, is find a man, find a woman that you love, have children, and show them hopefully the same sort of love that your mother and I showed you. So I'm going to do, but there are a lot of people at the CEO level and the C-suites that are just staying there. And it's been a big problem for subsequent generation. The boomers get a lot of flack for just not stepping aside and not, oh my goodness, they're not giving way to the younger generation. Well, have you considered the fact that when us millennials or Gen Xers get to that same age, we're going to do the exact same thing, and we're probably going to live even longer than the boomers? You're going to have Generation Z saying, oh my God, I hate those millennials. Look, my boss is 110 years old. He's still going into the office. He's blocking my rise through the corporate ladder. It's a function of the fact that human beings are just living way longer than we ever have. And how that's just sort of fundamentally reordering society, not just at the governmental or corporate level, but just how our economies are oriented. I mean, the biggest, most booming sector by far right now is what? Healthcare. It is keeping people alive and having a better quality of life than ever before. And frankly, I don't begrudge anybody that. You know, like had Belling, for example, had he said, you know what, I want to keep going in the afternoon, I would have been, heck yeah, Mark, because I would love to still be doing middays and out at the beach right now at 5:35 p.m. as I'm looking outside and seeing what a glorious, beautiful day it is. So I understand, but it's just it's totally changed things. It's already having, and the biggest impact of people just staying alive longer is on that social safety net, is on Social Security. And it just makes me furious every single time I think about George W. Bush's plan to partially privatize Social Security and how Democrats just blocked it, saying, oh, well, it's the Wall Street casino. Do you have any idea how much money all of us would have in our retirement accounts instead of just the pittance that government gives us in the Social Security that it takes from us every single paycheck? We would have it. Oh my goodness. I have the numbers somewhere, and it will make you mad on a beautiful Monday evening, folks. I don't want you to go home from work and be as mad as I am thinking about how much more money we'd all have in our retirement accounts. I'll tell you what, let's step aside for a break. We're going to try to get back on schedule here. It's been such a topsy-turvy day because of that breaking news, because of the Kapinga announcement. When we come back, the future of Sara Rodriguez's campaign and why pretty much everyone in Wisconsin politics, Democrat and Republican, believes that she's done, that sometime this week she is going to drop out of this race. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
From the Lynch GM Superstore in Burlington, Total Traffic Center.
Northbound on 4145 got a crash past Watertown Plank on the right shoulder. Delays after that between North and Burleigh. Westbound 94, solid 27 to Hawley, and eastbound 68th to 35th. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples. All right, it's officially the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech, 20% off for teachers, and more. Check out all the deals at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy.
Summer in Wisconsin, fabulous but short. That's why you have to pack in all the fun you can. One way to do that is to take advantage of our Summer of Fun promotion. It offers discounts on fun-filled opportunities like this one.
The Heidel House on Green Lake is one of Wisconsin's classic upper-end resorts. Get 2 nights lodging and $200 in food and beverage credit. That's an $800 value for just $400.
Your Summer of Fun certificate is waiting for you. Just log on to newstalk1130.com.
Dan Voss from Cut and Go here. Spring of 1917, just 14 years after the Wright brothers' first flight, America, determined to darken the skies over Europe with 12,000 combat aircraft, set about crafting 100 million board feet of Pacific Northwest Sitka spruce lumber.
Sonny Voss here. The rest is history. American ingenuity, determination, and might rescued humanity from tyranny. Dad harnessed American ingenuity, developing the remote control, truck-mounted artillery articulated grapple saw Cut and Go uses to safely dominate landscapes.
Grind and Go is committed to your property being eyesore and trip hazard free. Cut and Go will take down dead trees for you to parse into firewood or chip for you to spread, or we can take with us.
Plants and Go designs historic treescapes, delivers them plants in time for you to celebrate your freedom this year.
Happy 250th anniversary. A Tons of Trees movement. CutandGoTrees.com. That's CUTNGO trees.com.
When your computer or laptop isn't working properly, sometimes a simple reboot does the trick. The equivalent to your body losing weight would be to reset your metabolism. That's just one of the secrets to the success I found working with Milwaukee Weight Loss. I'm Dave Michaels. Milwaukee Weight Loss's team in Brookfield customized a plan to my specific needs, and the results speak for itself. I've lost around 15 pounds. But more importantly to me, I've noticed that my mobility has improved. I'm sleeping better, and if I'm being honest, even less moody. Plus, I've still been eating real food and using safe products that have helped reset my metabolism. Milwaukee Weight Loss's team at Brookfield is helping my body burn fat, not muscle, like GLP-1s do. And for a limited time, Milwaukee Weight Loss is offering $200 off with their summer special. So if you're serious, not only about losing weight, but keeping it off, visit MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com and schedule your free consultation today. Or call 262-433-4007. 262-433-4007. Results may vary.
Here's why. I'm attorney Werner Adam Rice of Warshevsky Law and licensed medical doctor Werner Adam Rice of Warshevsky Law. Being an MD and an attorney has allowed me to contribute powerful preparation for trial from day one in countless cases. I review medical evidence as it is discovered in the cases Warshevsky represents. Knowing the law and medicine allows me to see things an attorney might miss or that a doctor doesn't realize matter. For Warshevsky and our clients, my expertise has allowed us to see and prosecute forged and altered documents by doctors. I prepare medical expert witnesses in a way few attorneys can, and I'm a scientist. In one case, I proved negligence working with a medical examiner, creating an anatomic clay model of a deceased client. I've contributed to the Warshevsky firm winning many multi-million-dollar lawsuits, including the largest settlement ever awarded in Milwaukee County. Injured? It is about the money. Warshevsky.com, 414-276-4970.
The semifinals are set for the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
That is a wondrous goal!
4 teams hoping to hoist the trophy for their country.
Spain heading to the semifinal!
And the only place to listen to every remaining game for free
is the iHeartRadio app.
What a moment in the tournament!
Fox Sports and iHeartRadio bring you all the action, no matter where you are.
The biggest games are yet to come. Don't miss a moment.
The referee blows the full-time whistle.
Download the free iHeartRadio app now.
iHeartRadio FIFA World Cup update.
The World Cup semifinals get underway Tuesday when France battles Spain in Dallas. French star Kylian Mbappe and Argentina's Lionel Messi are tied at 8 goals apiece in the race for the Golden Boot.
Lionel Messi! The savior!
England's Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham trail the leaders with 6 goals each. Argentina takes on England in Atlanta on Wednesday.
Download the iHeartRadio app for live Fox coverage of every game.
How do you define strength? Is it physical? Or is it mental? Maybe it's both. Maybe it's whatever empowers a person to dig deeper, fight harder, and overcome obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. Discover how much stronger and more confident your children can be. Encourage them to participate in a sport when they go to high school.
This message presented by the Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
The talk shows on WISN Radio. Not for the faint of heart and not for the feeble of mind. News Talk 1130 WISN. Fact is, until you've heard us, you haven't heard the whole story. Now,
back to the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Folks, during commercial breaks and even as I've been on the air, I have been getting messages from political insiders, people who are connected to politics, people who just want to
talk about what the heck happened today with Sara Rodriguez's absolute implosion. There is not one person, and I don't want to be like that guy, like, oh, well, I talked to a whole lot of insiders, and I'm not going to tell you who, but they're very inside. I don't want to be like the Shams Charania of Wisconsin politics, but suffice it to say, there are a lot of people who you would know, and a lot of people who are very plugged into campaigns and politics. There is not one of them, and sprinkled in there, yes, there are a couple of Democrats. Not one of them believes that Sara Rodriguez has a path forward after this. That press conference this afternoon was a dumpster fire. The scandal that her now former campaign manager was overinflating donations by hundreds of thousands of dollars. Rodriguez wouldn't say how much the overinflated donation totals were. She did say, hey, we're down to our last $200,000 in the final stretch of this primary. That's admitting you're broke. That is admitting you have no money, that you can't finance anything. She had a much ballyhooed $1.2 million ad buy. Turns out that was a lie. They never had the money to pay for that. You've got to pay for all that advertising up front. They couldn't do it. There's nobody who believes that she's got a path forward. She's got to drop out, and she is probably going to do so later this week. The party has got to find, and what an unenviable position that the Democratic Party now has to find itself in. The only other viable non-socialist, non-Francesca Hong candidate dropped out and endorsed Rodriguez literally 5 days ago in David Crowley. Do you think Crowley jumps back in and said, hey, remember last week when I said that the best candidate was Sara Rodriguez? I lied. It's actually me. I think the best candidate is me again, you guys. Vote for me. The party now has to pick between Mandela Barnes, Kelda Roys, and Joel Brennan. You might as well bring back Brett Hulsey, the weirdo who dressed up as the Confederate soldier to show up at the Republican convention years ago and then had that weird incident where he was like dunking a young boy at the beach or frolicking in a totally hetero, not perverted, weird way. Remember that scandal? He says there's no good way to spin whatever the hell was going on at that beach. Either Hulsey was being really, really weird and inappropriate with a boy and playing with him, dunking him, or he was like in a fight with a little boy at the beach. What, did the boy bully him by kicking sand in his face? Yeah, Brett Hulsey at this point has a better chance of being the Democratic nominee than does Sara Rodriguez. She was actually asked flat out. I believe this was our good friend Jessica McBride who asked this question. It was a very good one. So doesn't the buck stop with you? How did you not know all of this was going on with your campaign manager for 6 whole months?
So what I will say is this, is that I met regularly with my campaign manager about how the campaign was going. And based on the information that I received and the information that our partners received, it looked accurate. I trusted her to do the job that I had hired her to do, that she had done for her entire career. And I regret placing my trust in that individual.
What does that say about you as a leader?
It says that when I find something, I take immediate action. When I found that there were discrepancies and inaccuracies in that report, I immediately took action to bring people in. This was literally from Thursday when I found out permanently, like when I found out what was going on within the accounts. It is Monday today.
It took 6 months, though, to get to this point.
Because I was continually getting inaccurate reports from my campaign finance person, from my campaign manager.
So you had no reason to question any of those. By the way, that was Matt Smith asking the pertinent follow-ups, as he does, host of Up Front. So you found out immediately 6 months later. after getting a completely false idea of how much money you had raised, after trying to convince the entire state that you were the best candidate to take on the socialists, that you were the best one because you had raised all this money, turned out to be a lie. But as soon as you found out about that lie, after benefiting from it for 6 months, you see how there's really no path forward because there's no good answer for why this happened. Either she's telling the truth and she just found out about this on Tuesday. That makes her incompetent. That makes her unable to lead. She cannot be trusted to handle a small gubernatorial campaign. How can she possibly be trusted to handle a state budget, to run a complex apparatus like the state of Wisconsin? Or she did know about it and waited as long as humanly possible until all would be revealed on the current campaign finance report that would show, we said we had like $1 million. It turns out we only actually have $200,000. That's the real reason, folks. The campaign finance reports for July, for the January-July reporting period, they're due on July 15th. They're due in 2 days. It would have been revealed that she was getting out ahead of the story and she undersold in that initial press release how bad it was. 9:30 last night, they put out a press release saying, when Sara discovered that there was more than $100,000 that had been overinflated, she took immediate action. Well, that's sort of a lie by omission. That's misrepresenting the severity of the problem. It wasn't $100,000. It wasn't more than $100,000, which would imply $105,000, $110,000, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Rodriguez wouldn't even say how much money. Is it $500,000? Is it $700,000? How much money were you lying to everybody in the state about how much you were taking in to try to make it seem like your campaign was a lot more successful than it was? And all of this is exaggerated by the fact, all of this is amplified by the fact that Rodriguez is expected to be the candidate to stop the spread of the Democrat Socialists of America, to be the establishment candidate who stops the socialist in this race, Francesca Hong, from effectively taking over the Democratic Party of Wisconsin. And heaven forbid she wins in November, Wisconsin itself.
From the Lynch Chevrolet of Kenosha Total Traffic Center.
Northbound on 4145 got a crash past Watertown Plank on the right shoulder. Delays after that between North and Burleigh. Westbound 94, solid 27 to Hawley, and eastbound 68th to 35th. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Habish & Rotier.
One law firm has recovered more million-dollar results than any other firm in Wisconsin. We have handled and won the largest cases in state history. Habish & Rotier. National reputation, hometown service. Visit Habish.com for more information.
Your clear choice for more. Lisbon Store, Screen and Door.
The only real estate agent I trust here in Milwaukee is Justin Hoffman with RE/MAX Lakeside. Now, thanks for joining me today. Now, how early should a seller start developing their strategy if they want to sell their home? And is pricing considered the biggest part of that selling strategy?
Honestly, Sean, the earlier the better. Ideally, sellers should start thinking about their strategy at least a few months before they plan to list. This will give you more time to make the subtle improvements, understand the market, and create a plan that puts the home in the best position for success. And yeah, price is absolutely one of the biggest parts of the strategy. A home can look great, but if it's overpriced, it sits and will cost you a ton of money. The right price creates momentum, attracts serious buyers, and often leads to bidding wars. But it's really a combination of the price, presentation, timing, and marketing all working together that gets the best result.
Just go to wihomeeval.com or just Google Team Hoffman and check out over 700 five-star reviews.
Water running back to your foundation due to settling concrete can lead to extremely expensive foundation repairs.
even mold and bacteria in your home.
MudTech, 262-337-0934.
Puts existing concrete back to grade, keeping water away from your foundation for a fraction of patio or driveway replacement cost.
MudTech, 262-337-0934.
For a free estimate today.
MudTech, 262-337-0934.
Permanently fixes asphalt with state-of-the-art technology. Uneven sagging stairs and walkways are easily evened out for less than you're guessing with M to the U to the D to the T to the E to the C to the H.
262-337-0934.
The cost of having southeastern Wisconsin's premier concrete releveling and asphalt repair technicians at MudTech.
262-337-0934.
Restore your paved surfaces today is a fraction of the cost of replacement tomorrow. Call right now.
262-337-0934.
MudTechWorks.com.
Dan O'Donnell here, my friends at Old Fashioned Roofing, a veteran-owned Wisconsin tradition where a handshake still matters. Find them at oldfashionedroofing.com.
That's old-fashioned roofing.
If you are waiting for a sign to finally create your will, this is it. I'm attorney Tom Grieve with Grieve's Civil Law. Many people intend to make a will, but never get around to it. It's heartbreaking when grieving loved ones have the added stress of going through probate. Don't let that be the case for your family. Give them and you the peace of mind that everything is taken care of. Don't gamble with your life's work or your family's future. GrieveCivilLaw.com, because tomorrow isn't guaranteed.
I'm Dr. Jennifer Grieve. My experience in the ER led me to establish Reset Restore MD, or R&R MD Ketamine Therapy Center. Sadly, right now, depression, anxiety, addiction, chronic pain, and PTSD are too common. Relief for people depressed, anxious, battling addiction, or living their life in pain is critically important. Traditional treatments can create potentially dangerous side effects, even suicidal feelings. While mental health issues can widely be misunderstood, they are real. People with treatment-resistant depression, anxiety, addiction, PTSD, or pain often have deficient levels of feel-good chemicals, including serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine, locking them in an endless cycle of sadness, pain, and anxiety. No matter what they do, symptoms remain. Ketamine helps retrain the brain out of this cycle, stimulating normal release of feel-good chemicals. A ketamine infusion takes about an hour at R&R MD. The reset or restore of feel-good chemicals can continue for weeks, months, even a lifetime. R&R for relief. Reset Restore MD, rnrmd.com.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Wisconsin. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
Show summaries, podcasts, political tidbits, and the hottest photo galleries in radio. All available to you whenever you demand them at newstalk1130.com.
Folks, days like today are an important reminder of why we do need local and state journalism to cover stories like the Sara Rodriguez scandal. The fact that you have the sitting lieutenant governor of the state of Wisconsin. You'll notice, by the way, that Tony Evers and the Democratic Party have been nowhere near this. They knew. There's a reason. Evers, we played this soundbite last week where Evers was asked when Sara got into the race almost exactly 1 year ago. She was the first candidate to get in. She was the candidate who was going to try to clear the field. The reason our good friend Senator Chris Kapenga made the announcement first. He contacted me and said, Dan, I'd like to announce on your show I'm running for Waukesha County Executive. There is an advantage to announcing first because the idea is that everybody else says, well, you know what? Senator Kapenga's already in. He's a very good candidate. I think I'm going to pass on this one. Then everybody just kind of gets behind the Republican or the Democrat who's already in.
Tom Tiffany is a perfect example. Once he got in, yes, Washington County Executive Josh Schoeman was in. Tiffany got the Trump endorsement, and Schoeman said, you know what, there's no path forward. Look, clearly the party wants Tiffany. The voters want Tiffany. He's such a strong candidate. I'm out. Peace. Rodriguez had every opportunity to scare everyone else out of the primary. She couldn't do it. Evers was asked, hey, your Lieutenant Governor Sara Rodriguez said she would welcome your endorsement. Are you going to endorse? He actually told, I think it was Matt Smith of Up Front. He actually said, yeah, if there's somebody who gets into the race who I really want to win and would benefit from my endorsement, then I'll endorse. But as of right now, no, I'm not going to endorse. That was about as withering a critique as it gets, saying, yeah, if someone gets in that I like, the candidate who's in right now I don't like happens to be my own lieutenant governor. Well, now I think we're figuring out why. The woman is largely incompetent. At best, that's the best case scenario. That she and the rest of her campaign were just so oblivious, that they were so unable to do their jobs as candidate, as consultants, as members of the campaign, to figure out that they didn't have hundreds of thousands of dollars that the campaign manager was telling them. That is the best case scenario for her. That she's just such a buffoon that she had no idea that hundreds of thousands of dollars were missing from her campaign. That is best case. Worst case, she's known about this for weeks, months, trying to keep it secret, so she would benefit from the positive press about $1 million ad buys and how much money she was taking in, and was finally forced to own up to the truth as close as possible to the date where the next round of campaign finance reporting needed to be done, and that's July 15th in 2 days. There is no good outcome here. And I think the Democrats' last best chance of stopping Francesca Hong and the socialists probably just saw her campaign end today, whether or not she knows it yet. Of course, we'll have much more to discuss throughout the week. We'll be back tomorrow, 3:06 p.m. to do just that here on The Dan O'Donnell Show.